Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Alex with Bachelor for Life podcast, and I am doing my own bracketology. We are. This is March 2nd. We are in March Madness. We're 2 Sundays or 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. I get tired of watching Joe Lenardi and Jerry Palm with their bogus bracketology and their seeding. It's just ridiculous. So I'm going to give you a POV of a regular basketball consumer who watches a lot of college basketball. By no means am I an expert. I'm just going by what I see on schedules, what I see who beats who. All my times I've watched basketball games this year, on the main days, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, where there's lots of basketball games. I watch, 8 to 12 games a day, depending on what's going on in my life. Couple tips or a couple notes here. I'm here doing it in my beautiful studio, as you can see. Just joking. Just my place. By no means am I an expert or a professional YouTuber. This is my first YouTube video of something like this where I debate things, I guess. So bear with me. I do not edit any of my videos, so what you see and what you hear is legit. It's coming from me. I don't cut clips. I don't know how to do any of that. This isn't a fancy YouTube page yet. I don't expect to make any money from this. It's just something that I enjoy doing. Great. I mean, look at my banner. It's Bachelor for Life. I don't have a lot responsibilities besides work, and then that's about it. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Just a side note, I am a big North Carolina Tar Heel basketball fan, so you guys might think I'm a little biased there, but what I say about them and whatnot, it's based on facts, and that's all I can do. So, but what we're gonna do here is, I Googled it, so unless Google is wrong, there's 37 at-large bids available. So we're going to go conference by conference. I'm going to give you the teams that are locked in for the NCAA tournament in each conference. And then I'm going to give you the bubble teams in each conference. And then we'll add up the numbers. And then we'll fill in the remaining spots with the remaining bubble teams that are not guaranteed to make it. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you my top 16 seeds. Your 1 seeds, 2 seeds, 3 seeds, and 4 seeds according to what I've seen this season. Hopefully you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, click that like button, click that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel. I got a small following here now. I'm gonna try to expand a little bit about me. High school basketball coach, love sports, all kinds of sports, you name it, golf, basketball, baseball, I think that's all of them. Oh man, I forgot. I like movies. I like going out to eat. So I'm hoping to do movie reviews. Well, I do movie reviews on my podcast. Check it out, Bachelor for Life podcast. I'm hoping to do restaurant reviews. So yeah, I'm looking to maybe expand this just for a reference point for you guys. You got date night, you're looking for a nice restaurant, you can see if I've checked it out, done a review on it. You want to go see a movie, you want to know how good it is, check it out. So yeah, just trying to do a little bit more exposure on my YouTube channel. I don't do a whole lot, and like I said, this is really the first full video that I'm going to do. So let's get started, right? All right, so like I said, Selection Sundays 2 weeks from now. A lot of things can happen in those 2 weeks. You get the last week of regular season this week. Some big games tonight. You got Duke at NC State. You got Iowa State at Arizona. Four big time teams there. And then after this week, you got the conference tournaments that can also shake some things up depending on who wins those conference tournaments. If it's a team that isn't supposed to make the NCAA tournament, then obviously they take a at-large bid away from a team that had hopes of making it. So that's always interesting. So why don't we get started? All right, in the ACC And when I list these teams, they're just based on, well, their standings inside the conference. By no means is it my rankings on who the best teams are in that conference. I just pulled the standings from ESPN.com. All right, so in the ACC, these teams I feel like are locks for the NCAA tournament. You got Duke, Virginia, Miami, North Carolina, Clemson, NC State, and Louisville. Okay, those 7 teams locked for the NCAA tournament. 3 teams on the bubble. You have California, you got SMU, and you got Stanford. All right, moving to the Big 12. You got 6 teams that are locked for me. You got Arizona, Houston, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas, and BYU. Teams that are on the bubble, you have UCF, TCU, West Virginia. Those are the teams that are on the bubble for the Big 12. Moving on to the Big East, locks, you have UConn and St. John's. So you got 2 teams there. And some people are going to question this one, but I think teams that are on the bubble for the Big East, you have Villanova and Seton Hall. And some of these teams that I'm putting on the bubble, I'm just being nice so I can talk about them a little bit. But to be honest, some of these teams don't have a chance of making the tournament at all. But I just like to have a big variety. Moving on, the Big Ten, 7 teams that have locked in the NCAA tournament. You have Michigan, Nebraska, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, and UCLA. Those 7 teams should be in. Teams that are on the bubble, you have 3 of them. You have Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana. Let's see. You know, the Mountain West, to be honest, I think all those teams are on the bubble. I think they might just get. I feel like they should only get the one automatic bid for the NCAA or for the Mountain West tournament champion. So I mean, as far as you can say, all these teams are on the bubble: Utah State, New Mexico, San Diego State, Nevada, Grand Canyon, and Colorado State. They all have similar resumes. So I don't think any one of them are locks to make the NCAA tournament besides the tournament conference champion. Moving on in the SEC, you got 6 teams that I think are locks. You have Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Teams that are on the bubble for the SEC, you got Texas, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Auburn. And then in the West Coast, you have 2 locks. You have Gonzaga and St. Mary's. And then on the bubble, you have Santa Clara. So adding that up, you got 7 plus 6 is 13, plus 2 is 15, plus 7 is 22, plus 6 is 28, and then plus 2 for the West Coast is 30. So that means we have 7 spots that we have to fill for the bubbles or for the at-large bids. All right, let's start back to the ACC and teams that I feel like are on the bubble and if I think they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament or not. So I'll always start from the bottom of the conference and move my way up. Starting in the ACC, you have Stanford at 18-11 overall. They're 7-9 in the conference play. They have beaten Louisville. That's not Stanford, sorry. They beat, Stanford has beaten Louisville and North Carolina. Sorry, I was right on that. They do have a bad loss. They lost to Seattle. But my theory on bubble teams, and I know I'll probably get a lot of disagreements here, though, but if you have a record in conference play that's not 500 or better, I don't think you deserve to make the NCAA tournament. This isn't little kids soccer where everyone deserves a participation medal. Okay, this is the big time. You have to earn your way into the tournament, and if you have a losing record in conference play, you do not deserve to make the NCAA tournament. That's just my opinion. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. So Stanford, even though they have some good wins, their non-schedule slate, they haven't beaten anybody in non-conference. At 7-9, they're not making the tournament. Sorry Stanford, but you're out. Next team, SMU. SMU is 19-10 overall, 8-8 in conference play. They do have a nice non-conference win against Texas A&M, who is also a bubble team. They do have a bad loss in LSU, but SMU has beaten North Carolina and have some other good conference wins as well. I got SMU making the tournament. I think they're a dangerous team. You got a nice point guard in Boobie Miller. They got good guards who can shoot the ball. They do have a big post player who can enforce the lane. I think SMU. I think they're in the field. Next in the ACC, you got California. California is 20-9. They're 8-8 in conference play as well. You look at California; they have a nice non-conference win against UCLA, who is definitely in the field. They do have a bad non-conference loss against Kansas State, but if you look at their conference wins, you're looking at they beat Stanford twice. That's why Stanford's not in. You got to beat Cal, the other bubble team, at least once, but they didn't. So they beat SMU. They beat at Miami. They beat in Carolina. I think Cal's a solid team. Can they win a first round game? You put them at that 8-9 matchup, or maybe the first 4 in. Yeah, I think Cal can definitely win. They play hard. So that's 2 bubble teams from the ACC. So now we only have 5 spots left. Let's move to the Big 12. Starting from the bottom, you have West Virginia. West Virginia is 17-12 overall, 8-8 in conference play. They have bad non-conference losses to Xavier and Wake Forest. That's not great. They do have a home win against Kansas and a home win against BYU. That home win against BYU is without Richie Saunders for BYU, obviously. So it was probably a little bit easier win than they were expecting, just because they just had to worry about AJ sorry, I hate his last name. I can never pronounce it, so my apologies. AJ Dibansta. All right, never mind. I know I'm going to get bad comments about my pronunciation. But anyways, so yeah, unfortunately, West Virginia's non-conference wins, they don't have anything great. And just going off the Kansas home win, I don't think that's enough. So I don't have West Virginia in the NCAA tournament. The next team, TCU, 19-10 overall, 9-7 in conference play. They do have really good non-conference wins in Florida and Wisconsin. That Florida win is huge. They have a nice home win against Iowa State. They do have some bad losses. They got a loss to University of New Orleans, Notre Dame, Utah, and they lost by Colorado by 26. I mean, that's just a horrible loss. But I think the good outweighs the bad, and I think you got to put TCU in. The Iowa State win means you beat one of the top teams in the conference. Obviously, Florida's looking really good. Wisconsin's looking good. So those 3 wins are way better than West Virginia has, better than Stanford has. So I got TCU making the NCAA tournament. The next team is UCF. They have a 19-10 record, also 9-7 in conference play. UCF has a nice non-conference win against Texas A&M, which is also a bubble team on my list. And then they do have conference wins against Texas Tech and Kansas at home. And then they do have that road win at BYU just recently. I know BYU was without Richie Saunders in that game as well. But look at Iowa State. Iowa State went into BYU without Richie Saunders, and they couldn't get the job done. They actually got blown out by BYU. So UCF going into BYU and winning that game was huge. So, yes, I got UCF also making the NCAA tournament there. So that's 4 teams out of 7. So we only got 3 spots left, guys. Now, here's my biggest gripe, or this is probably where people are going to hate on me. You got Seton Hall in the Big East. Seton Hall is 19-10 overall, 9-9 in conference. Their best non-conference win is NC State. They do have a bad loss to USC, but if you're 9-9 in the Big East Conference, not gonna happen, guys. Sorry, the Big East is trash. You can't have 9 losses in the Big East and hope to make the NCAA tournament. That's just my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. Seton Hall is not an NCAA tournament team. You put them in the Big Ten, ACC, SEC conference, Big 12. They're a six. They're a 6 and let's see, that's 18 games. They're 6-12 in conference play probably if you put them in any one of those 4 conferences. That's just facts right there. Now this is the one that's going to get interesting. Villanova. Villanova is 22-7 overall, 13-5 in conference play. Now again, you got to remember, Big East is really, really bad this year. They're bad. So yes, you're going to have a solid conference record, but this is the thing. I'll give Nova to have a non-conference win against Wisconsin, but that's not enough. You want to know why? Because when you have 2 chances to beat UConn, one at home, one on away, and you lose both of them. One was really bad at home. Then you have 2 chances to beat the second best team in the conference, St. John's. One at home, one on the way, and one of them was a blowout too. So 2 blowouts, and then 2 maybe somewhat close games against the 2 best teams in the conference, and you're 0-4. Don't tell me you deserve to make the NCAA tournament. If you can't beat one of the top teams in your own conference, in that conference that's not very good, not going to happen, boys. You're out. That's me, Villanova. You're not in the tournament, bud. Sorry. All right, moving down to the Big Ten. Indiana 17-12, 8-10 in conference play. You know my rule. I just said it 10 minutes ago. If you don't have a 500 or better record in conference play, I don't believe you deserve to make the tournament. And as of right now, Indiana is 8-10. They're 2 games below 500. They do have a nice home win against Purdue. They won at UCLA, but they have some really bad losses too. And I just don't think that home win against Purdue is enough. They don't have anything outside of non-conference. So yeah, I got Indiana not making the NCAA tournament based on their non-conference schedule and just that 1 win against Purdue. I don't think that's enough. Ohio State is 18-11, 10-8 in conference play. They do have bad loss at Pittsburgh, but they do have a nice non-conference win against West Virginia, who's also a bubble team. So that's why Ohio State's in, West Virginia's out. They had a nice home win against Purdue. They beat Wisconsin. They lost by UNC by 1. I mean, you could do that about any team. We only lost to them by 1 or 2. So, I mean, I can't really give them that. A loss is a loss. There are no moral victories and losses. So, but I think their resume is better than Indiana's. So I'm going to have to give Ohio State the nod. Plus, they have 2 games above 500 in conference play. So Ohio State is going to make the NCAA tournament for me. And then last bowl team in the Big Ten, you have Iowa. They are 20-9 overall, 10-8 in conference play. They have the really nice home win against Nebraska. But then that's about it, guys. Their non-conference slate was horrible. Their best win in non-conference is Grand Canyon University. And if you can say that's your best non-conference win, and then in conference, the only quality win you have is against one of the better teams in the conference is Nebraska. I don't see it, guys. When you lose to Penn State, you lose to Maryland, you get blown out by 20-some against Purdue at home. Just goes to show that Nebraska probably had an off night or you played out of your minds that game. So Iowa, I'm sorry, all you Iowa fans. That's where I live, is in the state of Iowa. You guys aren't going to make the tournament this year. You'll have to cheer for the Cyclones. All right, moving on. Okay, Mountain West, like I said, I think they just deserve the 1 automatic bid for the conference tournament. But I'm guessing they're going to get 2 or 3 maybe at large. I don't see it happening. just go down the list here. You got Utah State, New Mexico, San Diego State, Nevada, Grand Canyon, and Colorado State. All right, so Nevada, Grand Canyon, and Colorado State all have 11-7 records, or 10-8 in Colorado State. They all have bad losses. Nevada lost to UCD. Grand Canyon lost to Youngstown State. Colorado State lost to Denver. If you had to pick between the three, I'd probably pick Colorado State. They have beaten Wichita State, USF, and Colorado, which the top two teams are probably going to battle for conference tournament championships in their conferences, but they're still not that good of wins. Then you're looking at the top three that have the best chance. You got Utah State, 24-5, 14-4 in conference play. You know, their best win non-conference is VCU, who's going to fight for a conference tournament title. Excuse me. But I just don't see it. Yeah, they're going to beat up on the other teams in their conference that have decent wins, but then you're also going to lose to those teams also. New Mexico, same boat, 22-7, 13-5 conference play. They lost to New Mexico State. If I had to pick, they would probably be my one at-large bid. I mean, they beat in Santa Clara and VCU, but I still don't think New Mexico is a tournament team. San Diego State's 19-9, 13-5 overall, or 19-9 overall and 13-5 in conference play. Their best non-conference win is Oregon, who's really bad, and that was probably without Oregon's two best players to start the year. And then they have a loss against Troy. So you can't be losing to these teams and having your best wins be horrible teams, guys. I'm just saying, I don't think the Mountain West is good at all. Last year I think they got 5 bids somehow. And we saw what happened in the play-in game against Carolina. They lost by 35 points. All right, moving on. SEC. You got a handful of bowl teams here, 5 of them. Start at the bottom. Auburn. Auburn's 15-14 overall, 6-10 in conference play. There is no way in the world someone tell me how Auburn makes an NCAA tournament. There is no way that can happen. 6-10 in the conference. Even if they win the next 2 games in conference play, they're still at 8-10. They're barely above 500 overall, guys. I don't care. Listen, their non-conference wins. Their best win is at Florida. That's it. That's all they got on their resume. Someone told me differently, but you can't have a team that's 6-10 in conference play make the NCAA tournament. That's just horrendous. So Auburn's not making the NCAA tournament. Then you got Georgia. Georgia is 20-9 overall, 8-8 in conference play. They have nice wins at home against Arkansas and at Kentucky. I'll give them the at Kentucky win. Winning at Kentucky is very, very hard to do. Winning at home against Arkansas, everybody beats Arkansas, guys. Granted, look at Florida last week. They beat Arkansas by 40. Arkansas gave up 110 points. Arkansas is not a good basketball team. Can they score points? Yes. They don't play any defense. So, with that being said, Georgia's best non-conference win is Florida State, guys. Florida State, not good. And then they lost to Clemson. They also lost to Oklahoma and Ole Miss in conference play. You can't be losing those 2 crappy teams in conference and expect to make the NCAA tournament. You just can't. They're bad losses. So Georgia is not making the NCAA tournament for me. Texas A&M. Texas A&M is 19-10 overall, 9-7 in conference play. Their best win is Florida State. I guess Florida State's the guinea pig for the SEC. But still, I just said it. If that's their best win non-conference, that's bad. They have losses to SMU, Okie State, and UCF. 2 bowl teams there. That's why SMU is in over them. And that's why UCF is over Texas A&M. Head-to-head matchups. You know, they say it all the time in college football. Head-to-head matchups should matter. Look at Notre Dame, Miami this year. Notre Dame was in line for the playoffs the whole time. Last rankings come out. Miami jumps on, it's based on head-to-head. Well, that should be true for for March Madness. You can't just look at stupid numbers and analytical numbers that doesn't tell the whole story, guys. Looking at numbers doesn't tell you which team is the best. If it did, our high school varsity team, they played the number 1 team in Class 2A 2 nights ago. If we just looked at the numbers, we should have lost by, I think we were underdogs by 30. It was a tied ball game, 48-48 with a minute and a half to go against the number 1 team in Class 2A to make it a state. So don't tell me that a team's better than another team based on stupid numbers, because it's not. You gotta play the game. You gotta beat teams. You gotta watch the teams. Sorry, that's my little rant on high school basketball. So back to Texas A&M. Their one good conference win was at Georgia, guys. But if you can't beat any of the top teams, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, you're not good. You just aren't. They've lost to all the ranked teams that they played this year in conference play. Look it up. Trust me. I looked up all this. Okay, I'm not just making this stuff up. You can go fact check me. Okay. So that's why Texas A&M, they're not making the tournament for me either if it was my choice. All right, so then you're going to, oh shoot, my bad. So we're at 2, 2, and 1. So we're at 5, and we got 2 spots left. So we got 2 spots left for the at-large, okay? Let's go to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's 22-7. They're 9-7 in conference play. They got off to that hot start, I think it was 16-0 or something like that. And then obviously they've struggled once they got in conference play. But their non-conference slate was pretty good. They beat quality teams like SMU, St. Mary's, UCF, VCU, who's going to play for a conference title probably. They beat Alabama and Kentucky at home. They have lost 3 of the last 4, and they finished with 2 road games. But I think no matter what, they've done enough to make the NCAA tournament. So Vanderbilt is in for me. And then the last bubble team for SEC is Texas. Texas got off to a horrible start this year. But they finished 18, or not finished. They got a couple of games left. But they're at 18-11 overall, 9-7 in conference play. Best non-conference win, they beat NC State. I guess NC State and Florida State is just everybody's go-to win this year. Don't really have a bad loss. I mean, they lost to Arizona State, but they're a decent team. They do have a nice win at Alabama, which is hard to play at and win. And then they beat Vanderbilt at home. They do have a bad conference loss against Mississippi State. But I think if you throw in at Alabama, Vanderbilt, NC State, they beat Georgia at home. They revenged they beat Georgia at home. So that's why they're ahead of Georgia. So yes, I do have Texas making the NCAA tournament. And that is our 37 at-large bid teams. The only other team on the bubble would be from the West Coast Conference. You have Santa Clara. Sorry, Santa Clara. Your one big win is St. Mary's. Other than that, you don't got anything on your resume either. And you play in a conference that's not very good. So, with that being said, we got 9 ACC teams. Okay, we got 8 Big 12 teams. We got 2 Big East teams. We got 8 Big 10 teams. 0 automatic or at-large bids for the Mountain West. And then we got 8 SEC teams. And then we got 2 West Coast. So let's double check my math. 2 plus 8 is 10. Plus 8 is 18. Plus 2 is Big East is 20. Plus 8 from the Big 12 is 28. Plus 9 from the ACC is 37. So there we go. 37 at-large bids right there. Comment below on what you think about my at-large teams. If I'm missing out on someone, if you have an argument about a team not making it, or this team should be in and this team shouldn't be out. But don't just say this team should be in and this team should be out. Give facts or give a reasoning why you think that team should be in or why this team should not be in. I'm all for it. If you want to call me a moron, an idiot, you're not going to hurt my feelings, guys. Trust me. I'm immune to comments. You can say whatever you want to say and it's not going to bother me at all. Like I said, I just do this for fun. I don't look to try to make any money from it. I mean, look at my podcast. It's Bachelor for Life, man. I don't have a lot of requirements in my life besides work. So I just thought it'd be fun to do something different and give this a try. So this is my first time doing something like this. Hopefully there's more videos to come. But yeah, it took a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. I studied each team, their non-conference schedule, their conference wins and stuff like that. And I'll give it to Joe Lunardi and Jerry Palm from CBS. You know, it takes a lot of time to do all this, but I feel like when they do theirs, they just look at numbers, guys. Where's my phone at? I just screenshotted something that came out. It was sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, it's a top 25 Ken Palm ratings through Sunday, March 1st. Ken Palm. Okay, who cares? It's got net rate. It's got your win-loss record, the net rating, the offensive rating, the defensive rating, the adjusted total. You got teams like this. You got Iowa as 24th in the Ken Palm ratings. North Carolina's not even in there, guys. North Carolina. Let me see what else they got. I mean, I feel like they got every other team in the top 25 besides North Carolina. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, to tell me that, I mean, I don't pay attention to any of this because I watch games. I don't do numbers. Numbers is for scientists and people like that. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah. You can't pick teams based on numbers. Quad 1 wins, quad 2 wins, quad 3. This team beat this team by 30 at home. Who cares? At the end of the day, a win is a win. Did you beat them or not? Yes, you did. Okay? Did you lose to them? Yes or no? No. Yes, you did. So, that's my second rant of this video. All right, last thing I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to give you my top 16 seeds. We'll start from the 4 seeds, moving to the 1 seeds, because I think I'll get less arguments moving towards the 1 seeds. So my 4 seeds right now, you have Gonzaga. You know, I never thought they should have been higher than a 3 seed. 4 seeds probably pretty generous for them. They look at their non-conference guys. They didn't beat anybody. They didn't play anybody. They did play some people. Yeah, they played Michigan and lost by 40. By 40. Okay? Other than that, they split their games to St. Mary's. They lost to Portland. We're talking about Portland, guys. Gonzaga. 4 seed is pretty generous. I'll put you guys there. Purdue. You saw it on my list. Every bowl team had Purdue as their big win on their resume. Purdue is not the team that they were 2 years ago, 1 year ago with Zach Edey. Yeah, when you have a 7'4" center, that covers up a lot of mistakes that your team makes. And they're not very good. I don't know why people keep thinking Purdue's great. You know, they were ranked number 1, I think, or 2. And then they got blown out at home by Iowa State by 20-some points. If you're a top 2 seed, top 3 seed, has Carolina been blown out by 20-some points at home against a ranked team? No. Purdue, not good. 4 seed at the best. Here's one, Kansas. Everybody loves Kansas still for some reason. Is it just because we got to give it to Kansas because it's Kansas or because it's Bill Self and O'Cry? Kansas has 8 losses. Carolina has 6. Carolina beat Kansas, but according to the experts, Kansas is a 3 seed and North Carolina is a 6 seed. Yeah, make it make sense. Somebody out there hates the ACC. I don't get it either. Kansas, it's right there, guys. 2 more losses to North Carolina. They played head-to-head. Carolina, it's not like Carolina won on a last-second shot. They beat them by 13 points with Darren Peterson when he wanted to play at the beginning of the season. Right? Right. All right, Nebraska, a 4 seed. Look at their schedule, guys. I mean, I got it right here. Nebraska's best non-conference win is Oklahoma. Other than that, they haven't beaten anybody. They got some nice win in conference play, but when you have quality teams in your conference, you're going to have quality wins in the conference. What have you done outside of conference? You haven't beaten anybody. Nobody. Oklahoma, who's garbage. So that's my 4 seeds. Gonzaga, Purdue, Kansas, Nebraska. All right, moving on to the 3 seeds. Texas Tech. And I'm surprised I had Texas Tech as a 3 seed. Without JT Toppin, I thought they would definitely move down to like a 5 because JT Toppin was one of their 2 best players on the team. But they've won 3 in a row without him, and they had a huge road win at Iowa State without him. And I feel like replacing a post player is a lot more easier than replacing a starting point guard or a shooting guard. And they still got shooters. They still got a good coach. They still play solid defense, and they play fiercely. They got a point guard who's dynamic. And you can find bigs who can just go in there and rebound, play solid defense, get easy offensive putbacks, get dunks when guards make good passes to them. Texas Tech is still a really good team, and they proved it by going into Ames, one of the hardest places to play at Hilton, and they made sure there was no Hilton magic at the end. Alabama, I think Alabama, they're a roller coaster, man. They have some really good wins, and then they have some mind-boggling losses at home. One to Texas, one to Tennessee, but they have 2 really good guards in Phylon and Holloway, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. But Bama, 3 seed. Illinois is another good team. They have so much size on their team. Keenan Wagler for Illinois. He kind of struggled last game against Michigan. He needs to play more under control, but they got shooters. They got bigs. They got their guard back. Boswell's back for Illinois. So they could be a dangerous team. And then I know people are going to give me a lot of flack for this, but I was going back between North Carolina and Florida State. North Carolina and Florida. I got Florida as a 3 seed, guys. You look at their non-conference schedule, they played a lot of good teams. They didn't win any of them. You got to win something. You get those opportunities, you got to win something. You can't win nothing. And they didn't win anything in the non-conference. Now people say, oh, they've won like 9 or 10 or 8 in a row. You look at those 8, 9, 10 in a row, they're beating teams like Georgia, Ole Miss, South Carolina. When they are playing tougher teams in the conference, they've been at home. And if you're a really good team, you should win 95% of your home games. So yeah, they've beaten Tennessee at home. They've beaten Kentucky at home. They've beaten Arkansas at home just recently. So yeah, they've won good games in the conference, but outside of conference, nobody. That's why they're a 3 seed. All right, my 2 seeds. I got North Carolina, and again, it's facts, guys. Beat Kansas by 13 with Darren Peterson when he was engaged. First game of college basketball season. At Kentucky, without Seth Trimble, our starting shooting guard. I think Kentucky's lost 3 games at home this year. We're one of them without our starting shooting guard. That just goes to show you we can win with that when guys are injured. Just look at now. We're 3-1 without Caleb Wilson. Even Tar Heel fans didn't think we were going to be 3-1 without Caleb Wilson. We've beaten who? Oh yeah, the number 1 team in the nation who looks to be the odds-on favorite to win the national title, the Duke Blue Devils. Okay, no other team. One other team's beating Duke is Texas Tech, and that was a miracle because somehow Duke blew a 15-point lead in the second half. Duke never blows a 15-point lead in the second half. So us and Texas Tech, only 2 teams to beat Duke. Okay, we've beaten Ohio State. Right, we've beaten Georgetown, which I know Georgetown's not a great team. I'm just saying we've beaten other teams in other Power 5 conferences, Big East. We've been at Virginia. I would say Virginia's home record, maybe they've lost 2 games at home. Maybe not. Maybe we're the only ones. How Virginia is ahead of us in seed line, according to these experts, No idea. We beat them at home. Okay? Yes, I understand we lost to California and Stanford on the West Coast. California's an NCAA tournament team. Stanford's a bubble team. Okay? We lost to Miami. That was right after the Duke win. You can call it a hangover. Plus, Caleb Wilson got injured. Henry Vasar got injured. Both injured in those games. Then we lost. We got our butts kicked at NC State without our two best players, guys. Our front court. You tell me a team that's going to go on the road in a rivalry game in a hostile environment without your two best players, your front court players, and you tell me that you're going to put up a decent fight. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to every expert. I even knew it wasn't going to be pretty, and it wasn't. But we bounced back. We beat Syracuse. We beat Louisville without Caleb Wilson. Virginia Tech without Caleb Wilson. Yeah. So, UNC, 2 seed. No idea why they're not getting any respect. And like I said on my podcast, if you listen to it, I'm fine if Carolina's a 6 seed. If Carolina's a 6 seed, they win against 11 seed, and then they play the 3 seed. I know we're going to be better than the 3 seeds, Florida, Illinois, Bama, Texas Tech. I'll take my chances against any one of those teams. And then you play the 2 seed. You got Iowa State, according to me, Houston, and Michigan State. Rematch against Michigan State, I'll take that. Iowa State, Houston, I'll take those every day. But we deserve a 2 seed as of right now. As it stands right now, Carolina deserves a 2 seed. All right. Iowa State, a 2 seed. Iowa State's got nice wins. Beat St. John's non-conference. Beat Purdue at Purdue by 20-some points. They beat Iowa. So their non-conference schedule looks pretty good. They got good wins at home against Kansas and Houston. They play Arizona tonight, so we'll see what happens with that game. Obviously, they had a surprising home loss to Texas Tech. Iowa State, Duke, and North Carolina were the only 3 teams out of Power 5 conferences to be undefeated at home entering Saturday, and obviously Iowa State lost to Texas Tech. What do you know? You get the ACC teams, Duke and Carolina. Only 2 teams in the Power 5 conferences that are undefeated at home. Everyone says the ACC is horrible. Everyone says Duke and Carolina. It just goes to show you. They are the blue bloods of the blue bloods, guys. Not just making it up. You look at my apartment, I got 7 banners of national champions up there for North Carolina. All right. I know, I brag a lot about North Carolina. I warned you guys at the beginning, I was a North Carolina fan. So, Houston, 2 seed. They had their 3-game losing streak, but they bounced back nicely against a horrible Colorado team. Colorado's pretty good, I'll say they're good, not pretty good. They're good. They beat them by 40 at home, which is what you would expect after losing 3 straight games. But Houston's got some nice wins, too. And then Michigan State. No one's talking about Michigan State. They just won at Purdue and at Indiana. You would think they'd lose one of the 2. They ended up winning both of them. So, Michigan, and then they have good non-conference wins against Carolina. So, they beat I'm pretty sure they beat Arkansas, too. So, Michigan State's got some nice wins. Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Sorry. They beat Kentucky, North Carolina, Arkansas. So, yeah, they do have a bad loss at Minnesota, but like I said, every team, it's a college basketball is a long season. You're going to have maybe 1 or 2 mind-boggling losses, but yeah. And then your 1 seeds, I don't think there's any arguments. Your 4th one is UConn. I know they play in the Big East. They've squeaked by a lot of games in the Big East competition. They beat Georgetown by 3 at home. They beat Seton Hall just recently. They were down by like 8, I think, and had to have a huge comeback. Other teams, they've kind of squeaked by in the Big East. But you look at their non-conference wins, they do have wins against, they beat Kansas, I know. They beat Florida. So they do have good non-conference wins there. So yeah, UConn. And then these 3, I don't think there's much arguments at all. Duke, Michigan, Arizona. They all have great non-conference wins. They all have great conference wins. They're the 3 most dominant teams in college basketball right now. They're head and heels above everyone else. I give those 3 teams each an 85% chance to win the national title. Next 3, you got Iowa State, North Carolina, Michigan State at 50% maybe, or maybe I had Florida. I don't remember on my podcast. It's one of those two. And then at 25%, you had either Michigan State, Florida, Houston, and I think I had Illinois in there. But you'd have to listen to the podcast. Anyways, so that's my top 16 seeds. Let me know what you think. Comment below on how ridiculous my seeding is. But I'm telling you, I've watched enough college basketball to know which teams are which. And yeah. So that's all I got for you guys on my first ever, I guess, YouTube video post about something meaningful. I've done other videos about just silly stuff. There is a video, if you check my YouTube channel, Bachelor for Life, there's a video of me during basketball practice and a ball ricocheting and hitting me right in the nuts. So it's a pretty funny video. You should check it out. But again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like what you hear, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm hoping to post more videos like this, whether it's movie reviews, food restaurants, or just sports videos in general. I really appreciate the support. If you don't like it, that's fine. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. If you want to comment below and tell me I'm a moron, that's totally fine too. I'm not gonna hate you. That's not my thing. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I'll end this like I end my podcast. So, feel free to follow me on all my social media accounts, Bachelor for Life on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. And yeah, I'll end it like I do my podcast. I hope you guys have a great week. And I'll forever say it.